Ah, yes. Welcome once again, everyone. If you're seeing us in all of our glory, that
Excuse
of
me.
course means it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, which is always time for the High Noon Hemp Show. Of course, you can find us in many places, video live and on demand. On Facebook is the Temptations Beach Facebook page, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and on Twitter/X, whatever it is you call it, at Temptations Podcast, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show. I am Stoner Jesus. He is Beach, and he is high above the Hemptations in Sharonville, Ohio, at the Hemp Quarters. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
Freaking cold. All of a
Yeah.
sudden it's cold. Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Uh, yeah, it's true. I am high above the Sherville location here for the High Noon Hemp Show. It is Wednesday, and let's get it started. Remember, the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. And here is the I pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it's planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. That's right, folks.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right into it. Got a lot of cold weather goods here on the product spotlight. As I say, four from the store, one from my door. The first one here, this is the rack of hemp hoodlums. So, I hear we're going to have a pretty
Yep. We've lost Beach. Beach is frozen. It seems that way. Yes. Beach is definitely frozen, at
there
least
we
on my.
are.
There's Beach is back. There we go.
So the cold winter jackets I think are going to be quite appropriate this year as well. So here's just some of the ones we have displayed in Sharonville. We've got a nice little selection down in Northside as well. We got a lot here. So if you're really looking for something, you want to come into the Sharonville location. Stay tuned because we're probably going to have a sale maybe in November on some of the winter wear and all that stuff. Um, so we'll see, but hopefully soon we'll be able to do a little discount on some of that. Speaking of that, how about some jeans? Got a nice selection of Kentucky Outfitter jeans between the regular jeans and the Carpenter's jeans. You'll see in just a little while. Um, we're sure to hopefully have your size. Unless you're a 36 waist, we probably have your size. 36s, I think, is one of the more common ones. And of course, 36 is my waist size. So
Yes.
unfortunately, a lot of the 36s have made it to my shelves as opposed to other people's shelves. If there's one hemp product out there that I say I may have been a little greedy on when it came to grabbing when they came in, it was probably my 36 waist Kentucky Hemp Outfitters because I don't. I might have to go. I'll have to go and check and see how many pairs I have. But we're talking over the 20 years of them, and of course they haven't really. I think you can still go to their website and get some stuff. I doubt they even have 36 waist in stock, but I do believe that he still does.
Nope. Is Beach back? Now Beach is back, but we don't have audio, I think. Inauspicious start to the show. A show known sometimes for inauspicious starts. Yeah, we have no audio on you, Beach, and you were gone for a second, but your video is back. But now there's no audio.
See, so Pete, what's going on? Can you hear me now?
There you go. Yeah, it's a little
There.
not
Can
as
you hear
good quality, but we can hear you.
Okay, you might have to turn me up a little bit. I have to switch mics.
Yeah,
That's
do that.
probably what happened there. The iPad. Weird. Anyway, so get yourself a pair of the good old Kentucky Hemp Outfitter jeans. Yeah, there's plenty of them here to choose from. We'll have to see about maybe I don't know what's down in Northside, so maybe divide these up a little bit and get some of these down in Northside as well. I'm sure they can always use some jeans down there. Next on the list, how about some Satori socks? You've seen a lot of Satori socks on my feet. Here's a little selection of some Satori socks to keep your feet warm. These are, like a medium thickness, I think. They're not thin, but they're not thick. So they're definitely good for a good fall sock. If your falls are anything like Ohio's fall weather, no matter where, if you're cooling off a little bit, you may want yourself a little bit of a warmer pair of socks. So. And the last one, made right here in at the Planet Everywhere manufacturing. These are Planet Everywhere ear warmers, and so they're Velcro, so they're adjustable, and they come down just a little bit over the ear. Um, I'm pretty sure I have just about every color we ever made of these. I'm gonna start breaking these out for the "What Are You Wearing" beach segment here soon enough. I'm sure of it. Um, as this cold weather is, these cold mornings are kicking in here in
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Ohio, in the high state area. There it is, 4 from the store. The one from my door is a little late for the season, maybe, but this is from Pocket Disc. This is Hemp Ventures, which is I believe, in Kentucky. I hope he's still doing stuff down in Kentucky. But this is, again, like the high flyer that I was showing, or the freedom flyer that I showed. This is basically a soft frisbee. Again, they call them pocket discs. You may be able to go to pocketdisc.com and find these. I don't know if they'll have the hemp ones or not, to be honest with you. I'll have to go check that out after the show just to see. But I have some other hemp venture stuff that was pretty cool, like this hemp Kentucky magnet. You can see that. This was done by Hemp Ventures back in the day, and some other pretty. I have to find out some of the other kind of unique stuff. My golf tees were made by Hemp Ventures. But anyway, this is my Hemp Ventures soft pocket disc, as they call it. And again, because it's kind of foldable, it's pretty solid. It's thinner than the high flyers, but it's pretty solid, but still soft. Still soft. A lot softer than a regular old frisbee, no doubt about it. So safe for the kids, as I say. If they can't catch it, hits them in the head, they'll be all right.
That's good.
All right. Good stuff indeed. Now, dun, dun, dun.
That of course brings us to the still, and I know you all get tired of me get tired of me hearing me say this. Still, as of yet, not award-winning segment. Now that's all on you. If you're watching this show, I don't know who he would contact about this, but there's someone that gives awards for internet segments in the video form somewhere. Maybe it's in Bulgaria or whatever. It's up to you all to find them and submit this show so we can get our award. And then from now on, I will be saying now to our award-winning segment. See, when we get to that point in the evolution of the show, but we're counting on you all to get to it. So
I think
search.
just being nominated would be great.
That's right. Just get us a nomination, just something. There's got to be some kind of category somewhere, some internet award. There's millions of people giving away internet awards. We don't have to have something physical. Maybe a certificate, maybe something in a nice frame will be nice enough. I don't know. We'll see. Again, that's up to you all. I can't do everything. You got to pull your weight when it comes to getting us our awards. Anyway, it's my long-winded way of getting to the beachwear segment, where you can see, of course, how cold it is on the mornings now here in Cincinnati. When I ask Beach, what are you wearing, Beach?
Yeah, a little chilly here for the "What Are You Wearing" beach. Now you'll know. Definitely hoodie weather, without a doubt. Up on the top there, I've got a good old-fashioned grassroots Satori movement hat. The hoodie is a Two Jupiters hoodie. These are some of my favorites because they're nice and thick and warm, no doubt about it. Can't beat that extra layer on your head when it comes to a hoodie as well, no doubt. And so the T-shirt, I don't know. This is one of those question mark T-shirts that doesn't have a label that clearly identifies who made it. It's a decently thick one. We did it at that Temptations University leaf vinyl. If you look closely at those letters, there are little leaves inside the white of those. So yeah, printed here. A good old-fashioned Hempy's belt, holding up those, you guessed it, Kentucky Hemp Outfitter jeans. These are the Carpenter's jeans. You can see they've got the pocket for the hammer or the nails and whatnot right there. And then on the other side, which you can't see, it does have the little loop even to hold the hammer. For what I would call a true designed carpenter's jean, because that's what it's for. It's got a loop on one side that holds your hammer, and then it's got a big long pocket on the other side that holds your nails. In the pocket there, as you can see outside the pocket there, like usual, is my Green Springs Technology pen. That is the injected molded version of that. Underneath it all, classic pair of head case boxers. Again, these all the boxers that head case made back in the day, they have a pocket. That's probably like 2 inches by 1.5 inches. That's hidden in the label, where you can put your valuables and whatnot. If somebody's searching you there, you're well beyond worrying about what's in there. That's for sure. And then underneath, got a pair of Satori socks, keeping my feet warm, as well as my oldest, or I shouldn't say my oldest, but my most worn pair of Wicked boot shoes. So it's about time to start busting out the old boot shoes as we get to the winter months, or colder and wetter type of weather. We haven't seen the rain yet, thankfully, to be honest with you, because it's been so cold that when it does rain, it's going to be miserable. But I do think we got some rain coming somewhat soon. So there you have it. If you're curious and you want to know, now you know. What are you wearing, Beach? On a chilly Cincinnati morning.
Indeed.
I've even, I kept my hoodie on back here because I'm reluctant to turn the heat on. It hasn't gotten super cold that I want to turn the heat on yet, because it warms up during the day upstairs because the sun hits it, gets nice, chills off at night, which I like. So still wearing the hoodie right now because, once again, I don't really have the heat on, and I'm okay with that. I'm layering up, and I'm definitely a layering up kind of guy these days. With my thin blood and my skinniness, we were talking about how I got like a two for badness when it comes to being cold and warm, because cold, I should say, because not only am I skinny, which is tougher on us skinny people for the cold, but I'm on blood thinners for the old ticker, which also doesn't help keep the body warm. So I'm old. As me and Mary joke, I'm cold. I'm getting cold. I've gotten cold. Anyway, there you have it. What are you wearing, Beach? Now let's take a look at this ad, and we'll be right back with the news.
When I say hemp. Today, we are here at Hemptations to show you that hemp can be so much more. Hemp is not marijuana, but it is one of the most versatile crops known to humans. Professor, is hemp food really packed with protein and omegas? Is the seed oil really great for the skin and hair? Correct, and hemp is the strongest natural fiber on the planet. See what hemp really is all about at Hemptations. Not what you think, and much, much more. Having Hemptations?
There you go.
Another one of those Beach's Three People ads that came up with in that series of Beach's tripolar. I guess we'll call those the tripolar commercial line. Had a lot of fun doing those. I do get back into trying to make some more of those Three People commercials, one way or another. So, all right, let's get on with the news, because it's some interesting news again this week, of course, as always, here on the High Noon Hemp Show. And remember, folks, if you ever want to look back at some of the stories that I get a lot of my articles on Flipboard. You can go to Flipboard, the app, and then just go ahead and search for Hemptations. I have a Hemptations page, and then you click on that, and it should have most of a lot of the stuff that I talk about here on the the High Noon Hemp Show. Not to give my secrets away, but they're not really secrets. I got to get my news somewhere. And I've got a couple other sources. Don't get me wrong. I check a couple other places, but I do have to find that I can usually be pretty satisfied. So a new study has shown that 33 milligrams of a 60% CBD, 12% CBDV, and a 4% THCV mixture, along with emu oil, menthol, and peppermint oil, showed huge success in regrowing hair. That's right. This is one of the greatest challenges of mankind. If you've seen the movie Idiocracy, you'll understand too. But it's funny because someone else made another reference as a joke as to the pharmaceutical companies taking so much time into figuring out hair loss and erectile dysfunctional issues. But anyway, whoa, such a stigma. And again, if you're going bald, just go bald. Accept it. If I was to ever go bald, I wouldn't try to regrow my hair. I would just be like, that's nature. I think I'm lucky I don't have the genetic makeup for that. But the minute my best friend was growing bald, I said, shave it, dude. Don't try any tricks. Just you're bald for the rest of your life. That's what it is. But maybe we got an all natural, or pretty natural. This should be natural. I don't know about the emu oil. Does it really come from emus? And do we have to kill the emus to get it? I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, this being said, this showed anywhere between a 31% increase in hair growth to a 2,000%. One of the test subjects had a 2,000% increase in hair growth. Now the average was a 246% increase in men and a 127% increase in women. And again, it's interesting how we're finding in certain things how differently cannabis affects men and women. It's kind of wild. And so, it wasn't CBD, it was THC, but there was another trial on kidney stones. And cannabis use in men really helped fight kidney stones, but not in women as much. Anyway, it's kind of wild. But here we have, again, increase in hair growth. All subjects were happy or very happy at the end of this study, and they experienced no side effects. And so, once again, this was just an oil. Sounds like, to me, I don't know if you need the CBDV. I don't know how much that matters. Obviously, the CBD, I think, is one of the important parts. The emu oil probably has something to do with it as well. And again, peppermint. Peppermint is a stimulant. I don't know if that means it would stimulate hair growth or not, but I do know that peppermint and menthol both, I believe, are more on the stimulant line of things. And so, very, very interesting, kind of surprising. I would throw some hemp oil, seed oil in there, just for maybe instead of emu oil, see if the hemp seed oil would be as good of or effective base, because then you're practically you could be on the vegan side of things with your hair growth products. I doubt that anyone, in all honesty, is trying to regrow their hair if they're going bald is a vegan. I don't know why those two. Again, I just don't feel like vegans would care. Vegans would be like, "Yep, I'm going bald." They're not going to try to do something about it. Anyway, I do think that they could definitely, and maybe we'll come up with our own blend of hair growth formula using hemp oil instead of that. Maybe. We do know it's good for the skin and the hair. So, as far as regrowth goes. So, what that also tells me is you could probably take our tincture and just rub it into your scalp Maybe spray a little peppermint and menthol up there and rub it in really good. Um, and go ahead and just use all that stuff to regrow. I'm almost surprised they told us all the ingredients. Usually
Yeah.
they don't want us to know everything that's going into this. So it's kind of fun to know. There's your recipe for hair growth if you need it, folks. CBD, emu oil, menthol, and peppermint. And again, feel free to substitute hemp oil, seed oil for the emu oil if you want. I do believe it would be just as beneficial one way or another. So, here's some other good medical news, actual medical news, I should say, and not just I want to look good news. CBD administered subcutaneously, and I had not heard this word before, which really just means under the skin. Okay, sublingually, under the tongue. Subcutaneously, it's a tough word to read, means under the skin. So I guess that means maybe injecting the CBD under the skin, but it slowed the increase in body weight and heart rate and prevented increases in key cardiac, inflammatory, and remodeling markers in the model of heart failure. This study showed. So once again, we already know that that hemp seed oil is heart friendly. No cholesterol. Even it's probably anti-inflammatory principles and whatnot help with that. But it's protein, all those things. It's a very heart healthy food product. Now the CBD, it'll be interesting. Again, I can see with the inflammatory. I think that it will be interesting to see how effective CBD is for actual weight loss. Hemp seed oil is pretty good for weight loss because it helps it helps make your gut feel like it's full for longer. There's a word, my stomach growls when I say that. It needs some hemp seed as it is. But hemp seed, just hauled hemp seed, a couple scoops in the morning with your breakfast on your oatmeal or whatever, should help you feel more full longer. Therefore, not needing the feeling the need to snack and whatnot. I've seen that before as far as a diet. I think I read somewhere, one of my trivia books, I'm back to reading my trivia books because I'm back to reading again to stimulate my brain. But one of my trivia books said there's like recorded over 2,000 different types of diet that have been recorded over the history of recording diets. And so, like I have always said, it's not about being on a diet, it's about having a good diet. You can eat, I truly believe you can eat anything you want. It's just a matter of how much and when you can eat anything that you want. And obviously there are some foods that are not as healthy for us as other foods. And, find out what those are and try to cut them out of your diet. I would start with corn products and dairy products. But that's just me. And again, do I still eat corn products? I do. Do I still eat dairy products? On occasion. I still like cheese. But if I can avoid it, I do, honestly. And I read something else which was interesting because in Scientific American, I read a great article on dairy milk and how the highest rates of dairy consumption are also the highest rates of osteoporosis and hip fractures. And part of that, they referenced Japanese people and the culture that does not drink dairy milk. And it's interesting, the reason that the Japanese don't drink dairy milk is because they don't have a certain enzyme in their system that helps them even partially digest it. And again, we don't do it all. I mean, even adult cows don't drink milk, and so it's one of those things where I like to challenge people is if you drink a lot of milk, stop drinking milk, and then wait a little while, as I say, and reintroduce it and see what it does to you. If it doesn't have any ill effects, if your body says, "Yep, you're good with it," then continue to use it. When your body tells you that this probably isn't something it really wants, listen to it. Listen to it. I've had to be listening to my body recently, and I've had to give up jalapenos
Oh my.
because of this. And I'm a spicy eater, been a spicy eater all my life, but just recently, my body is telling me, Beach, don't eat jalapenos anymore, and I'm listening. I've cut jalapenos completely out of my diet because of it, because my body just doesn't react well. I'm doubling up on my cayenne because cayenne's very healthy for you too, as well as a spice, and I love the taste of it. I like spicy. So. But I mean, that's what you want to do with any food that you think really shouldn't be in your diet. Is just get rid of it and then bring it back. That's what they say, And if it doesn't have ill effects on you when you bring it back and reintroduce it into your system after not having it for a month or two, then your body's good with it. If you suspect something doesn't do well, then do something about it. And again, hemp seed oil is such a great grain. The whole hearts, the whole seeds, all of the hemp seed is good for the human body, and whatnot. So, and apparently, when you put CBD under the skin, it's good for the heart. Brilliant, I say, brilliant. I did see another study on CBD having good effects, I should say, or bad effects on the main side effects of COVID again. And there was a study a couple of years ago back when COVID was really hitting that CBD would fight that lung effect because it was really affecting people in the lungs. And so now we're still seeing that CBD is somewhat effective in fighting the side effects of COVID. It's not going to prevent you from getting COVID, but it can help. And again, I'm not giving medical advice. This was just a study that was showing this. More research is needed, but apparently we're going to live with COVID for the rest of our lives and our children's lives and their lives, and it's like the flu now. We just accept it. So I think we should still be looking into things that help with it. And apparently CBD has good effects on the bad effects of COVID, one way or another. This is interesting, and I don't know who's ever going to admit to this, and I don't know who told them this, but apparently the U.S. doesn't support removing CBD with less than 2% THC Delta 9 from the United Nations International Drug Control List. And I don't know, I honestly can't for the likes of me, maybe because it's not FDA approved and they don't want to put their stamp on it. All of a sudden, the United States says, okay, yeah, do that because that's the way it is here. And we're okay with that. But our FDA, our Food and Drug Administration, hasn't actually ruled on it. And so, do we want to tell the international world that it's okay? I think that's the only thing I can figure as to why the United States government wouldn't be behind this or, saying, yes, you should do this. It's our laws. So why wouldn't we support that for the United Nations, which again, federally, 0.3%. This is even better, 0.2%. That's less THC delta. And so I don't understand the politics behind that at all. I hope that the UN still goes ahead with this. And again, the UN really does not have any world power. It's just the voice of the leaders of the world and how the world should act. Um, even then, when it comes to all the peace that it's supposed to be keeping and whatnot, it's really up to the individual countries eventually to say, hey, okay, you've broken a bunch of United Nations treaties. Now we're going to do something about it because we're the world is the police. If you are a United Nations member, then your country is basically the United Nations police. If you deem that what they think should happen should happen. Um, so, the fact that they wouldn't approve, or again, what this would be doing would be making industrial hemp more or less no longer on the United Nations drug control list, which again is what we did with the last farm bill 5 years ago. Why would we not support this? Makes no sense why the United States would not support this, really. And so hopefully they go ahead and take off hemp, um, or CBD, whatever. Again, it's the same thing. Although I feel like I don't have to look into the international laws of industrial hemp because I don't know what they are. And that's basically what they're saying here when they say CBD with less than 2%. And I guess they're just talking about specifically CBD. Um, and again, why wouldn't they just take CBD off and say you can't have any THC period, and then you have to supply those people with, um, and maybe it's the 0.2%. Maybe because that makes our policy in violation of the UN policy. Maybe that's the whole deal, you know. And again, why didn't the UN pick 3%, 0.3%, which is pretty much the international standard? We kind of made that number up years and years and years and years ago. The hemp industry, and somehow it kind of stuck as the standard. I kind of wish years and years ago we would have said 1% is a viable percentage, but 0.3% sounds like a very tiny amount, and it really is. Very tiny amount of THC when it takes at least 3 to 5% to even feel the effects of THC delta 9. And again, that's not a scientific study. That's my opinion of what I have seen over the years. But I've always seen like low grade cannabis back in the day would maybe be 2 to 5%. And that 2% is probably what we would call ditchweed, which was it didn't get you high at all. You knew you were smoking something, but you'd smoke it all and be like, did we just smoke? Because that delta 9 was so low that you didn't get the side effects. Okay, and so that existed in our world for a long time. That's kind of gone by the wayward because now it's really industrial hemp, which is that 0.3%, or it's like 15% delta 9 THC. There is no more low grade dog food, to quote a movie, when it comes to black market THC delta 9, I guess you would call it. As the black market has shrunk, it has gone the direction of really good cannabis because it's all coming out of legal states anyway, for the most part. Anywhere where that black market still exists is most more likely. And there isn't, now we have CBD flower, which is what we would have called back in the day ditchweed, which, ditchweed is a real thing, which was industrial hemp left over from the war that grows in a lot of states still, including Kentucky, where I grew up. We had ditchweed that grew in the ditches right around the corner from our house. And again, you could smoke all you wanted. You never got high. As kids, I was raised with the notion of this ditchweed, and it's not marijuana, and it's not going to get you high. And we didn't mess around with it. Maybe once just to see if they were really lying to us or telling us the truth. But, that was basically CBD flower back in the day. But anyway, it was really just leftover industrial hemp from when it was grown in the war, for the war effort, and then made illegal again to grow after that. World War II, just for reference. Not that we've had a World War III to confuse anyone, but it seems to be wars going on all the time. How about Outer Known? Check out this sweatshirt. This is Outer Known, the name of the product, Outer Known. Their Sir Pocket sweatshirt. And this is a organic cotton and a hemp blend terry. French terry, I should say, which, I don't know if that's different than American terry cloth or Russian terry cloth, but the French would say, I am sure that it is the terry that you want. And again, France knows their hemp. So I don't know. I'm not saying that these are actually made from French grown. It's just called French terry, which is a weave, not necessarily a specific plant. But I like the looks of this. This is an everyday sweatshirt for an everyday person. And so, again, looking for some cold weather, Outer Known, OUTERKNOWN, Outer Known is the name of the company. We'll be keeping an eye out for hopefully some more hemp stuff in their clothing line, because we love hemp clothing. Replace it all, and I love its organic cotton too. It's the only acceptable cotton, in my opinion, is organic cotton. Don't buy anything else. And I know it's more expensive, but still. So it looks like Alaska. And all these states are like all of a sudden, I don't know what it is, but all these states all of a sudden are popping up with new laws. So it looks like Alaska is the newest state to go after, once again, 100% federally legal hemp byproducts with some of their new laws. Now, I haven't specifically seen what's going on. I do believe there was an age, so I think you might have to be like 21 to buy CBD even in Alaska now. I don't know. I'm going to have to because this just happened, and of course it goes into effect in like less than a month. It's like one of those things they voted in and they rushed to do it and make it effective so that the people don't have enough time to actually fight the laws. It's like in football when they rush to get a play in real quick because they're afraid the other team's going to throw a flag and challenge it. I think that's exactly why these states do this, man. They pass these laws in their house and whatever. They make them effective in a very short amount of time, so it doesn't give the public any time to say, "Hey, wait a minute, this is not legal. You can't do this." So look for some legal challenges, depending on what they really have done. Again, I have not seen what they have done. If it's just an age requirement to buy Delta 8, they probably won't be challenged in any way. If it's just age requirements, but I haven't seen whether it's limits, age. I don't think the thing is the bills that usually get challenged and overturned, the higher they go, are the ones that try to make the byproducts illegal. Okay? And so I think a lot of states are getting smart and saying, oh, well, we're not going to ban it. We're just going to make it harder to get to 21 age requirements and things like that. I definitely see those as the way things are going to go. Because, again, that is harder to challenge, I think, from a consumer's point of view than when a state says, nope, you can't have it at all, which is how a lot of states started out doing this. They tried to ban Delta 8 only to find out that they don't have the authority to do that. But somehow they do have the authority to make age requirements on that. And 21 seems to be the one, even though as an 18 you're an adult. But 21 is when you can make adult decisions. I don't know. But, I will have to say, not that I support any of that maybe, but age requirements are much better than just banning them, making it illegal, and making it impossible for people to get one way or another. And I'm not saying I want to sell those things to kids. But I do think that you know, at 18 you're mature enough to make the right decisions, but apparently not. Apparently not. Still not. 21. Not until 21. So why don't we just make the adult age 21? That seems what all the moral people seem to think, that you're not an adult until you're 21. You can't do these things until you're 21. So maybe we make it so we can't join the military until you're 21 because you're too young at 18 to make the right decision. In my
Yeah.
opinion, you are too young at 18 to make the right decision as to whether you should go fight in a war or whatever. But, they're not going to change that because guess what? They want you to be dumb and not have the right decision making ideology at 18. If they raised it to 21, we wouldn't have a military. Um, this is pretty neat. So the article is titled 9 Most Popular Surfaced Wood Conditioners for 2023. You can get a picture here of Furniture Tonic. Furniture Tonic, number 1, okay, with their all-natural hemp oil furniture polish and cleaner, right, came in at a 9.9 out of 10 on how they evaluated these 9 different wood refurnishers. And I've been talking about hemp oil and how its qualities for to bring back wood, stain wood, all those things are effective. And apparently, the number 1 furniture tonic and conditioner with a 9.9 out of 10. And I think the next ones, they dropped, like even number 2 dropped into the 8s. It's called Furniture Tonic. There it is. And again, all natural, which is what you would want in your wood refinisher, one way or another. No citrusy smell, which like over half, for some reason or another, over half of the products on the list had some type of citrus in them. I don't know why that needs to be there. Although citrus oil, I do believe, is a pretty good cleaner, disinfectant. I don't know if part of the stain part of it really matters. But anyway, there you have it. Most popular surface wood conditioner is Furniture Tonic, all natural hemp oil. And I do believe they said you can probably, I believe it comes from somewhere else, not the United States, but I do believe it is available on Amazon. So if you're looking to refurnish some wood, polish it up, clean it, whatnot, restore it, there you know. There you have it. Furniture Tonic. So apparently, adding CBD to naloxone, is that what I think that's how it's pronounced, which is the overdose drug, accelerates the medication's effects in reversing fentanyl overdose. Now there still need human trials to get on with this, and I believe there was another study or mention of this earlier this year on the show, how they're showing that adding CBD to this can help speed up the effects, make it more effective in saving people's lives from the fentanyl, which is still a problem. Still a problem, obviously. We're going after China right now, and I read somewhere that the Republicans would go to war against Mexico to fight the fentanyl issue if they were given the opportunity. Well, they really love their drug wars, and they literally said they would go to war with Mexico if they could to fight the fentanyl problem. And apparently, that's what they're using as defense now for building the wall. We don't have to worry about cannabis anymore, or even cocaine for that matter. I don't think they care about that coming across. But we got to stop this fentanyl surge from coming in. So let's get back to building that wall. Anyway, war is not the answer to a social issue. Never has been, never will be. Okay, the drug war has failed on every aspect of it. You can still get cocaine. You can still get ecstasy. You can still get fentanyl-laced heroin. And their drug war has been going on for 30, 40 years. The war against drugs will never be won. It will never be won. Okay? Legalize everything. Educate. Help people that need help. And if you make someone feel like a criminal, they're never going to ask for help. And the government knows that. The government knows that. And the only reason, or a big reason why, they're paying attention to the fentanyl issue is because it affects white people.
Yeah.
And it's killing the average person all of a sudden. And again, which just goes to show that heroin exists in our society quite prevalent without issue until you add something to the heroin that starts killing every other person that does it, which then shows how much people use heroin due to opiate addiction and things like that. But again, you make them criminals, and they are a lot less likely to ask for help, just like it was in the cannabis world forever and ever. Now that's gone away, for the most part, even though federally cannabis is still illegal, which is ridiculous. I should say cannabis with more than 0.4% THC Delta 9 is federally legal. So look for they're going to do more trials, but look for CBD to be added to your overdose help, and that also just goes to say that maybe have some CBD around, so one of your friends or somebody does in fact overdose, you can try to give it to them and see if it helps. I don't know how to do that. I shouldn't be giving medical advice like that. I shouldn't. Don't take my advice. Do what you want. Well, we knew it was going to come. Luckily, it didn't come from the big M, but it is here. The first genetically engineered cannabis plant has been approved by the Department of Agriculture. They removed basically all Delta 9. That was part of genetic engineering of this cannabis plant. They also made it resistant to a certain pesticide. Okay. Now, obviously, this is a CBD flower, not something that's going to be grown for grain or grown for the herd, the stalk, the fiber, all that, because those don't need pesticides. When you grow for the flower, you do need, you don't need, but the plants require more attention and can get something that would be detrimental to the output of the byproduct at the end of the day, the flower. And so, basically now we're going to have this herbicide-ready CBD flower with minimal or no Delta 9, which again, I knew that was going to be a goal to whether we could actually completely breed the Delta 9 out or apparently genetically engineer. And so, for genetically modifying through breeding, I don't know how I feel about genetically engineering, especially when it comes to genetically engineering so that we can rationalize with throwing chemicals on the plant. And supposedly that would make it safe. That's how it all started in the 80s. Okay? You had Roundup, okay, for
Yeah.
being used on soy. And then you had Roundup Ready soy. And now 90% of all soy grown in the world, or at least the United States, is that genetically engineered soy. Unless you're using organic soy products, chances are you're using genetically engineered soy products. And I think that I'd be okay with it if it was about output, putting a gene in there that makes the plant bigger so you get more. I might be all right with that somehow. I just think that, once again, putting a gene into a plant that makes it okay to throw herbicides or pesticides on it, that to me, I don't like, because, okay, that's still safe at the end of the day. You get your CBD flower from your genetically engineered cannabis plant that was used pesticide. It was safe. And there's no pesticides in the plant, or the pesticides didn't kill the plant or affect the plant, but they still went into the soil. And then all of a sudden you've got runoff. Okay, so even if they can argue, well, the end result is the same, it's safe and blah blah blah, because there's no supposedly residue from this herbicides or pesticides. This genetically engineered plant it doesn't kill and helps keep safer, but all that still goes into the soil. And at the end of the day, you still have runoff of those pesticides and those herbicides, and that to me is just as big an issue as me taking out a bite out of an apple that's got pesticides on it. Because if it goes into the soil, it will eventually find its way to the waterways. It will eventually find its way through the system. That is the way nature works, pure and simple. So, well, we've heard the rumors that someone was trying to do it, and apparently they succeeded in genetically engineering a CBD cannabis plant to breed, basically, take the Delta 9 out, which, it would be a big goal for any industrial hemp cultivar to come up with something where it, not that once again it matters. You can have 15% THC Delta 9 in a plant that you're going to make a pair of jeans out of, and it will make zero effect on. You could have 15% Delta 9 in a plant that you're going to use the seeds for food products, and it will not affect that food product. And so, this funny game of now breeding Delta 9 out for industrial hemp, it only makes sense in the CBD flower world. The federal government changes their rules altogether, and it'll be a whole different ballgame. But we'll go. We have all kinds of different levels of this and that, one way or another. So, well, apparently Bo knows hemp. So, if you're familiar with Bo Jackson, one of the greatest athletes ever in the history of athletes, I think most sports people wouldn't argue that fact. He could play some football, and he could play some baseball for that matter. But his big commercials back in the day were Bo Knows. Well, apparently Bo knows CBD now, because he's getting in on launching a Spall franchise ad. And so the Spall is adding an add-on, a CBD add-on, and I guess Bo Jackson is helping get the word out for this CBD add-on. And again, it would behoove any spa, as far as massages and things like that, to just go ahead and use both hemp oil and CBD as their massage oil. I really feel like, we'll see 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if every massage oil on the planet doesn't add CBD. And again, and until the FDA does something, we probably won't see that. But it could be the day after that, all of a sudden you're going to see all these massage oil lines. So yes, we're going to, or I know there's a ton of them that are already adding, or giving you the option. So you can buy their regular massage oil, or you can buy their massage oil with CBD. And once again, as a person that knows both firsthand, and because my partner is a licensed massage therapist, um, the benefits of CBD to a massage are exponential. In all honesty, Mary went to using CBD in her massages um, almost immediately 5 years ago, if not longer. Uh, just as standard. It wasn't an add-on. It wasn't an upgrade. It was the fact that by doing so, her clients got an even better result from what she was doing. That once again, it just behooved. She's one of those people that is going to do the right thing regardless. And it wasn't people were demanding CBD, but when they got them a CBD massage, they knew the difference, and then eventually it just became standard. And so we're definitely going to see, once again, this is kind of still probably being held back by the FDA, even though it's more topical, which seems to be more acceptable in the pharmaceutical world and whatnot, or I say pharmacy world, or anywhere Targets, they'd rather carry topical CBD products than say tinctures. Um, Either way, but every massage oil company will eventually have a certain amount of CBD in their massage oil. Or once again, they're just not doing their customers and their clientele any favors. In fact, they're holding them back, because of its known benefits when used as a topical. And again, that doesn't go into the bloodstream. It stays where you apply it. If you got a full body massage with CBD, your entire body, exterior, so to speak, muscles and all that, would feel the effects and the properties of the CBD. And then again, I say hemp oil just because hemp oil is great for the skin to begin with. And hemp oil makes a great massage oil. I know we've got some earthly body massage oil downstairs that I would recommend anybody buying a bottle of that. If they give massages or get massages, go ahead and get some Hemptations CBD tincture, put it in there, bam, you've got your own CBD hemp oil based massage oil. Um, Great for the body. Great for the body. And again, you can massage that in yourself. I know that's not as enjoyable as getting the massage from someone else, but you could easily make that mixture up. Just like I say, if, you could take our tincture, and if you've got a sore spot anywhere, rub that tincture in there, and you will get the benefits of that CBD on the surface. And again, all our tinctures are hemp seed oil based. Um, Not to confuse everyone out there, because we're still seeing hemp oil and they're talking about CBD, because in certain places, once again, you still can't say CBD. If you're trying to sell it on certain sales platforms online, they don't accept that. So they call it hemp oil instead, which technically it is. It's not hemp seed oil, which is how you tell the difference. Normally, if they just say hemp oil, um, then they're probably talking about CBD. But the two together, exponentially better. Exponentially better. So Nebraska, the Supreme Court declined to rule on prosecution of a CBD case. So apparently some store owners were raided in Nebraska, went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said this is not even a viable whatever, and so it's thrown out. So I don't really know the particulars of what happened, but again, it was just a CBD store owner, and again, I'm sure it was ignorance on the part of the police or the local government And once it got high enough for someone that really looked into the laws, I said, this is not cool. Which is, again, what we're seeing a lot. We shouldn't still have to go through this, but I feel like it's almost every other state has an issue, and in every other state it gets challenged, and 9 times out of 10 we win. The public wins when it comes to these the ignorance still surrounding industrial hemp in certain states or in certain areas. Love it out there. Okay. Oh man, did I send you Mary's Kickin' Cajun hemp sauce recipe?
No.
I forgot it. I'll
Oh
get it
my.
up here next week. I can't believe I forgot to send a picture. I knew I had another picture to send you, and I'm going to let's see here. I want to find it real quick, and I'll just go over. It's a pretty simple recipe. So if you want to grab a pen, if you're out there listening, and again next week, I will I will get it over to everyone. Ah, man, where'd it go now? Of course, I'm not going to be able. There it is. No, that's not it. Oh, I wonder if it's because it didn't make it to my iPad in time to get there. Here we go. There it is. I wonder if I can just do this real quick. Again, everybody knows how much I love my hot sauces, as I was mentioning earlier. I guess everybody doesn't know, but now you know how much I love it. We'll see if that gets to you in time. But anyway, it's a pretty simple, pretty simple recipe. It's called Kickin' Cajun hemp sauce, and you'd use a quarter cup of Manitoba Harvest hemp oil. You can use any hemp oil. This recipe probably came from Manitoba Harvest back in the day, and that's where she got it. You can, and then a half a cup of veganese or mayo if you want to use real mayo. I think if you use the veganese, then it is becomes a vegan recipe. 4 tablespoons of tamari sauce. I assume that's vegan. I don't know about tamari sauce, so I'm not. Before I speak on that, I don't know. Again, that's shoyu or tamari sauce. 2 tablespoons of Cajun spice. 1 tablespoon of black pepper. A little pinch of cayenne. A little salt if you wish to. Basically, combine the ingredients, mix well, bam. And it says great as a dressing or dip for sweet, and it's supposed to be sweet potato French fries. Which again, you can use it on any fry you want to, but if you like the spicy and you like the hemp oil, which we do, there you have it. It's a pretty simple recipe for some Cajun hemp sauce. Kicking Cajun hemp sauce. That's that pinch of cayenne. Ooh, cayenne. Add a little cayenne. Ooh, that's good. That's the way the Cajun cook always used to do it. Add a little bit of cayenne. Ooh, that's good. Actually, I think he used to say add a little bit of red wine. Because I think that guy used to put red wine in everything. Probably not cayenne, but anyway, there's your recipe of the week. I don't know if every week I have one, but I do try to put some recipes out here as much as I can. Finish off the show there. Get you in the kitchen for a little Kickin' Cajun hemp sauce. Well, there aren't a whole lot of events going on, but we do have October 31st. Hempoween, we're going to call it, is the marijuana meetup. And this is the what I call the potstoom or costume party. So, we're looking for your best cannabis-themed outfits. There will be winners. With that, there will be losers. But don't not dress up because of that. give it your best shot. You got a couple weeks to come up with something. And again, this is local here in the High State area at the Mad Tree. We usually kick it off about 8 o'clock for the medical marijuana meetups. And again, I go as the hemp guy, the CBD guy, or at least one of them. There's more than one of us CBD guys that show up, that's for sure. But originally that's why I started going to the medical marijuana meetups, not because of medical marijuana, but because to represent the hemp side of things. And they're, I have never walked away from a medical marijuana meetup disappointed. I've always had a conversation with someone that was enlightening. I've learned something. I'm meeting people all over the industry, and learning about cannabis is what I do. I'm more into the hemp, obviously, side of things. I always used to say I'm kind of the island in the ocean of educators and supporters, because for every 1,000 THC Delta 9 supporters, there's one hemp supporter. One person is, if it's 1,000 to 1, it's more and more now because of CBD. Before CBD, it was like a million. So for every million people that would stand up and say that cannabis should be legal for Delta 9, there was me. And again, I'm not the only one. I'm not saying I was the only person, because there's always been a bunch of true hemp fighters out there, supporting the hemp industry and the legalization of hemp. And now that we're there, we're still not done, because we still have room to make industrial hemp farming better. We still have room to get millions and millions and millions of hemp products on the shelves. There's so many hemp products that aren't on the shelves today that need to be on the shelves tomorrow. If we really want this thing to work out, like we said, which is helping save the world, the planet, making everything better, no one really noticing, and we're all happy, and we know it. And we're clapping our hands because of hemp and what hemp can truly do. It's beneficial for the human body. It's beneficial for the human planet. It's beneficial for the human animals, or human animals. Well, we are animals. I've always said that. All the other animals, non-human animals, and so there's still a lot of room to grow. That's why we're here at the High Noon Hemp Show. That's why we bring you these news stories to show you the products, the housing, the medical benefits of industrial hemp, the therapeutic benefits of industrial hemp. And we'll be back next week here on the High Noon Hemp Show with more. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See you all next week.